I love talking about my amputation. I love when people ask me about it, and I love when people stare at it, because then that gives me a reason to have to talk about it. And I wish that I could help others get to that point of understanding that being someone who was born with 2 legs, who played college volleyball on 2 legs, my life is exactly the same, if not better, with 1. My name is Jillian Williams, and I am a member of the USA Women's Sitting National Volleyball Team. I was a freshman at Texas Lutheran University, and I was playing volleyball for the Bulldog volleyball team. We were at our first big tournament, and I bent down to pick up a ball, and I heard my knee pop, and I kind of just was like, whoa, that kind of felt weird. It hurt really bad, but I was like, I can't go to the doctor yet. No, I have to finish the season. 3 weeks after our conference tournament is when I was finally like, I have to go to the doctor. I can't do this anymore. Nothing was helping. On February 29th of 2016, I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. When I opened my eyes after my open biopsy, my first question to my parents was, is it cancer? And my mom said yes. And then I followed up with, would I lose my leg? The oncologist had come in at that time, and he was like, there are surgeries to keep your leg, but that is an option. I remember looking at my parents too, and I was like, y'all have to stop crying. This is we can't do this crying mess right now.
We got into understanding what was going on. There was more involved than just going and cut the cancer out of the bone, and reality became that it would probably lose her leg. They told us immediately, check her out of school, we're gonna start chemo next week. That's how fast it was going.
That's scary, because your life just does a 180 in 30 seconds, and it's like, we don't.
Yeah.
That was a tough thing.
I had 3 months of chemo before my amputation, and then I had about 2 weeks off. I had my amputation, and then I started chemo again. I never felt like I was alone. We are a strong Christian family, and I felt like our faith only grew. Your favorite photo?
That was one of the first treatments.
Yeah, it was my very first treatment. I was probably in a bad mood or not feeling good, and he put a glove on his head. They were both there at every chemo treatment, which was, I was in the hospital every week. Almost every doctor's appointment. If my mom couldn't go, my dad went. If they didn't both go, kind of thing.
I never heard of rotation-plasty. The day they gave her the option, she ran with it. The rotation-plasty would give her more of herself back.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to show you the muscles.
That's awesome. But you've always been really strong. I had that video where I'm
it's
screaming,
not
I feel
like strength here, it's strength here.
Yeah.
So rotation-plasty, what they do is they take your foot and they rotate it 180 degrees, and they take out the knee joint and pretty much replace the knee joint with the foot. So the foot is now upside down with the heel at the top and the toes at the bottom, and it moves like a knee. The perk of rotation-plasty was knowing that I was gonna have a real part of my body, not a fake joint. After my amputation, it was like I was kind of starting a new beginning.
She woke up from her surgery and told us this is the way she thought God meant her to be.
I personally thought oh, I'm gonna heal within no time. The prosthetic journey was very difficult. It wasn't at all what I imagined. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to get dressed by myself. I had to learn to shower by myself and have to deal with pain. It was a new chapter that definitely humbled me. I had unrealistic expectations for myself, and sometimes I still do. I'm like, I am almost 3 years out of surgery, and I'm still walking with a limp. But then I have to remind myself, I have to give myself grace when it comes to that, and that it's a journey. It's not something quick.
She hasn't missed a beat with this. I mean, get the problem out of the way, let's go.
Yeah.
And she hasn't stopped.
When I got diagnosed, I was like, I never thought I'd play volleyball again. I threw my shoes away. After my amputation, someone sent me an article of actually one of my teammates, Bethany. She was in Sports Illustrated right before Rio. I started like looking up the USA women's sitting volleyball team, and one of the players also had rotation plasty. I was like, this is, again, like another sign. And I was just like, I'm just gonna try practicing this myself.
Good morning.
I literally watched YouTube videos. I was like, I don't even know if I'm playing right. There was a lot that I had to learn with it. The transition from standing to sitting was pretty difficult. The game is like 10 times faster. Like did not realize how much faster it was. The A2 program is like the feeder into the national team. When I got asked to come to an A2 camp, like in the very beginning of my journey, they told me that they highly advised me moving to Oklahoma to develop faster in the sport. I just kind of told my parents, like, I'm gonna move to Oklahoma, and they were like, okay, like if this is what you want to do. And then I made the world's roster for 2018.
1, 2, 3,
USA! It felt amazing to be back on the court. Even just put knee pads on, or a knee pad on, it just felt like, it's like, oh, I'm back at home. Like the smell of the gym, the touch of the ball, like just the little things that I feel like I did take for granted playing standing. Live and Leap Foundation is my baby. When I was first diagnosed, I was diagnosed the week of my 19th birthday, so I was still 18 at diagnosis. And I was told all about Make-A-Wish Foundation. And then my following appointment, they were like, I'm sorry, but you're too old for Make-A-Wish. And I was like, no way. Like, no way am I ever gonna let another patient feel the way I just felt when you told me that.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
How are y'all?
Good.
I decided that if I could be that little factor and that little stress reliever for someone, then I wanted to be that.
On to Grant's. Exxon.
She is very inspired. She said, she goes, I watched the video. I was here at work and I started bawling. You can tell Jill, I'm like, oh no, you don't cry. Like, Jill, there's no tears. And I was explaining to her how you empower people and get them through the most difficult times of their life.
So my board is, it's kind of funny, it's like my best friends. But I like it that way. We're all young. I think our average age is like 23, but I feel like we can move mountains. In this like year and a half that we've been running, we've raised over $100,000. We've granted 9 leaps. A Hawaii trip was our first one, and that was absolutely amazing. We've done 2 Disney cruises. We've paid rent. We're doing a wedding. We're currently planning a wedding, and I'm so excited. I feel like my positivity comes a lot from my faith. Jeremiah 29:11 is what I feel like really got me through, and it's for I know the plans I have for you, declares our Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. And my future has been like huge, like it's bigger than I ever could have imagined. And then 2020 is my year to train for Tokyo. Of course I want to be there, like that's my #1 goal, but I have no clue where this sport will lead me or where God sees me in the future. I was born with 2 legs and had to have an amputation for a reason, and that's just an important part of my story, and I've learned to embrace it and love it.